Hey there, podcast lovers. Looking for a fresh take on the world? Tune into Nikki's World, where we dive into everything hitting the headlines and chat about just what's on our minds. No filters, just real talk. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee or unwinding after a long day, Nikki's World is your go-to for genuine commentary on the real world. Subscribe now if you want to hear the real deal on what's going on. Join the conversation on Nikki's World, where every episode feels like catching up with an old friend. Don't miss out.
What's up, y'all? Let's do this. Oh, hi guys, welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host, and today, guys, I want to talk about the problems that I see in the blue state of Connecticut and why this matters for me and everyone else who is in the blue state of Connecticut. But before we go any further, guys, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, can y'all please consider donating a cup of coffee for me? Because for a price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and Cumberland Farms, guys. You guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories, more topics like this to talk about. I do accept Bitcoin donations. I am on Ko-fi, guys. If you guys want to support, sponsor, donate, and tip to Nikki's World. If you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, please hit that like, subscribe, please give me a review, good, bad, and the ugly. Also, guys, I do have a bunch of affiliate links. First off is Minds.com. Minds.com is a Connecticut based social media platform. They are an awesome alternative to Facebook. So, if you guys value your right to freedom of speech and you guys want to say stuff without fear of censorship or being deplatformed, well, then head on over to my friends at Minds.com. Also, guys, I do have an awesome affiliate link with Byrna.com. Byrna is the less lethal self defense company. If you guys value your right to the Second Amendment and you guys want to defend yourself in a less lethal manner, well, then head on over to my friends at Byrna.com because they make their top of the line Byrna SDLE TCR Mission 4 and their newest compact launcher, guys. So if you guys value your right to the Second Amendment and you guys value your right to self-defense, well then head on over to my friends at Byrna.com. Also, guys, I do have an awesome, and I mean awesome, affiliate link with North Shore Medical Supply. If you know someone out there who needs to wear adult diapers and who needs to be put in adult diapers like I do, guys, well then send them on over to my friends at North Shore Medical Supply because at North Shore they make their top of the line North Shore Mega Max diapers, North Shore Supreme pull-ups, and their Eterna boosters, guys. Trust me, I'm diapered all the time, so I wear North Shore Medical Supply diapers and they keep me padded all the time. So if you know somebody out there who needs to wear adult diapers and who needs to be put in adult diapers, guys, well then send them on over to my friends at North Shore Medical Supply. And before we get the show on the road, literally, guys, if you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, seriously, y'all, seriously, can y'all please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today? Holy wow. Yeah, that was a mouthful. That was a mouthful. And yes, guys, I am diapered up as always. I am in my North Shore Megamax diapers with my eternal boosters, and I have my onesies from Little Comforts. Yes, and I'm diapered up as always. But I do gotta let you know before we start the show, I am coming down with a head cold, so I may sound a little raspy, or my throat's a little scratchy, or I may be sniffling a little bit. So I do apologize for that. But I just want to get it out for you guys, okay? So I'm diapered up, padded up. Let's get on with the show, shall we? So today, guys, I want to talk about the problems I see living in the blue state of Connecticut and why we need to highlight these problems. Because I'm telling you, as someone who lives in the state of Connecticut, I can't even find a decent job in this state. Many of the jobs that they have out there, guys, okay, many of them that are out there, they don't pay much. They pay very little. They're mostly service sector jobs that don't even make enough to afford a living. And most of the time, guys, most of the times, the amount of money I make, I get taxed so much that I see illegals and welfare queens living in Section 8 housing, buying like 2 or 3 grocery carts at Walmart. While me, I have to like try to figure out where am I going to get the next money or the next shift to come in. The fact of the matter is, my state is robbing the working class out. My state is basically like killing the working class, killing the middle class, just to pay for the left's slave labor, which is illegal immigrants, and their welfare queens, which is like the black and Hispanic mother with what 5 or 6 kids from 5 or 6 different fathers. Well, tell me what's wrong with that in this state. The fact that for people like me, I work a part-time job. I work a part-time job at Amazon while going to grad school, getting my master's degree, and then getting out there and hoping I get a decent job. The fact of the matter is, there is no decent job in Connecticut. There isn't even a remotely decent employer in the state. Many jobs that people apply take like what, 4 to 6 months just to get hired by someone. And by then, people are looking at like food banks and social services to help people while they're trying to land a job. But meanwhile, you have an illegal immigrant, say in Hartford, Bridgeport, New Haven, living it up in luxury, while me, the working class, poor, middle class bum, working a part time job, slaving away and making what, $1 something, and not having the decency to make the money that I need. The fact of the matter is like this: Connecticut tax the working class to death. Connecticut tax you no matter how much money you make. You can make a job that makes like what, $120,000, $130,000 a year, but you're going to get taxed to the bone. But whereas me, I work a job that makes like what, less than 30,000 a year, and I don't get to bring home the money, even the taxed money from the state. I tell you this, I'm getting robbed hand over fist. I'm getting robbed while I'm getting a diaper change. This is why I'm sick and tired of the blue states. As a libertarian and an independent, I hate I hate the Democrats. I hate the Republican Party. I hate both of those parties because they do nothing for the working class and the middle class. They do nothing. Instead, they rob and pillage the fucking living daylights out of us to the point where we can't make anything anymore, and we're winding up having to flee to other states where there is jobs, low taxes, low income taxes, low cost of living. Where here in Connecticut, my God, to live comfortably in this state, you have to have like what? A nurse practitioner, a physician assistant salary. You pretty much have to. But here in Connecticut, if you're a working class or middle class, you make shit in this state. And it pisses me off that both parties would rather tax the living daylights out of the working class and middle class, and then all of a sudden kiss our asses by saying, "Oh, we'll help you lower your taxes, we'll help you bring jobs." I haven't seen one company moved in this state. Instead, I have seen shit ton of companies move out of blue states like Connecticut because of blue state policies that kill jobs, that kill the economy, that kill the working class that they claim to support, that they claim to back up, and that they claim to say, "Oh, we're for the working class, we're for the middle class." Oh no, you ain't. You're for the elites and upper class who live in what? Well-to-do towns like what? Simsbury, Avon, Weston, you know what I mean? Like Darien, like Fairfield. Yeah. But people like me who live in a suburban working class blue state or blue town, we get nothing. We get shit. We get cracked on. And I don't mean cracked on like in my diaper, but cracked on the fact that we get shitted on, you know? Even like this, guys. With that new big beautiful bill that got passed, you can't get food stamps anymore because food stamps are becoming so restrictive that it's becoming like a freaking like a fucking joke. Yeah, and I agree that they should limit food stamps to 2 years. That means if you can't get a job in 2 years, or you're not in community college, or you're not in trade school, you don't get food stamps on Section 8. You don't. And to me, the only people in Connecticut who deserve to be on food stamps, deserve to be on Section 8, deserve to be on welfare are the elderly who hit the age of 62, regardless of income. Okay? Regardless. The other is the physically disabled. Okay? The other is military veterans who come out of the military, whether through like physical injuries or they got like wounded in combat, they automatically get help from the state. They automatically get food stamps, Section 8, they get housing right off the rip, okay? And the physically disabled. And what I mean by physically disabled, okay, people who, what, are wheelchair bound, okay, that have a caregiver, okay, that have an intellectual disability, okay, those people are allowed to stay. If you're able bodied, you can work and go to school, then you should have a time limit of okay, you're going to trade school to be an LPN. Okay, fine. We'll give you a food stamp Section 8 while you're in trade school. The minute you get your LPN license, you're kicked off. You get 6 months to find a job after your LPN school or CNA school, and you're kicked off. Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, in blue states like Connecticut, They punish hardworking people, but reward laziness. They reward people who do nothing, but punish people who do everything to lift themselves up. This is why, like this, I tell people like this: if I were to run for office here in Connecticut, if I were to run for political office, whether at the local and the state level, first thing I would do is I would doge the effing living fuck out of the entire state of Connecticut. That means I would bring the Doge team to the state, audit every agency top down, and get rid of agencies that are needless, useless, and get rid of laws that are not applicable to today's times. I would do that. And then at the same time, I would restrict welfare immediately. I would say like this: if you're not 62 and over, if you're not disabled, if you're not a military veteran, you don't get welfare. But if you're on it, you either have to be working a minimum of 20 to 30 hours a week, or you have to be a full-time student at, say, a community college, which is the 12 state community colleges, or a trade school. And if you're not in one of those, sorry, you will be kicked out of welfare, you'll be kicked out of food stamps. I don't care if you cry, hoot and holler, and shit talk that your welfare's getting kicked out. I don't care. The fact of the matter is, people like the elderly who work their ass off in the system, they deserve to have welfare. They deserve to have food stamps, Section 8 housing, and all that. Not some, not some black mother with 4 or 5 kids from 4 or 5 different fathers. No, no. And then like this: if you're physically disabled, and that means you got to get a certified letter from a doctor, notarized, saying that you're physically disabled, then yes, you're allowed to stay on food stamps. You're allowed to get social services and all that shit. Yeah. But the one thing I want to say this, guys, and I want to say this: blue state economies are killing the working class. They're killing the middle class. They are killing people who work day in, day out, trying to like make a dollar out of nothing. Yeah, they're trying to like survive. But then you have these like blue haired liberals who live in what well to do suburban towns saying, oh, socialism's great. Oh, like we're gonna get government housing, government care, this and this and this. I tell people like this: if you think government health run healthcare is great, I double dare you to go walk into a VA hospital and see what kind of government healthcare you want. I freaking double dare you. Because I'll tell you this: if you want government healthcare, look at the Veterans Administration. Would be an eye opener, would be. But I will say this, guys. I will say this. I think it's going to get to a point right now where a lot of us who live in blue states like Connecticut, especially the conservatives and libertarians, who are fighting a losing battle. We're fighting a losing battle to turn this state red, and because Connecticut, and along with a lot of blue states, except for New Hampshire, okay, we're fighting a losing battle. We don't have help from national conservatives. We don't have help from like President Trump or the MAGA community. We don't. We're fighting this battle by ourselves. There's no Marvel's Avengers coming to save us. There is no one. There is no one coming to save us. Us libertarians, conservatives, and Republicans are fighting a losing battle day in and day out because the Democrats gerrymandered this whole fucking state to death. They really do. And when they gerrymandered it, Republicans, conservatives, and libertarians don't have representation in Washington. But yet, Democrats in Texas fled the state because they wanted to gerrymander Texas, but Texas Republicans are riding the ship. And now they're having a hissy fit because the Republicans are doing the same thing that Democrats did in blue states. I see the gerrymandering here so badly that you wonder why Republicans, conservatives, and libertarians don't have a voice in Hartford, don't have a voice in Washington. We don't because the blue state liberal progressive Democrats in this state silence every opposition in this state, and we don't get to have a voice. That's why people like me use podcasting as a way to speak up when we can't speak up. There are many times I tell people this is that the traditional media out here will not listen to our concerns. Will not even post our editorials. We have to go to alternative sources like podcasting, blogging, like starting an online newsletter. We have to go to alternative sources. People like me who want to go to work, who want to make a living, who want to live comfortably and live the middle class lifestyle, that's a pipe dream. That's a dream that's never going to happen in a blue state. Maybe in a red state, or maybe in a purple state like New Hampshire, but not here in a blue state like Connecticut. Blue state, blue states like Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Vermont, Maine, Pennsylvania, Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, and California. That's where the middle class dream dies. The middle class dream in a blue state dies in darkness and dies in silence. The idea of living the middle class life is a pipe dream. It's a fantasy. It's never gonna fucking happen. And I tell people this that there is no way anyone can live the middle class life in Connecticut. There is no way. The only way people will be able to live the middle class life in Connecticut is if you get rid of the one party rule stranglehold in Connecticut. You got to get rid of the Democrats who are ruling the roost in both the governor's office, the House of Representatives, and the state Senate. You got to get rid of them. And if we have the majority, let's say if we had a 50-50 split in the House, okay? And then we hold like a slim majority in the Senate, yeah, we can get somewhere. We can. But the problem I see, ladies and gentlemen, it's not happening fast enough. It's not. I see a lot of blue states. I mean, not blue states. I see a lot of red states like Texas, Florida, the Carolinas, Georgia, Alabama, okay, Tennessee, Kentucky. They're all expanding. They're all thriving. They're all working jobs that make more money than I do here in a blue state. Whereas here in the blue state, that don't matter if you make like what 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 to what $25 an hour. Don't matter. You get taxed to death. You get taxed to the bone. You get taxed so badly that by the time you take money home, it's not a lot. It isn't. And this is why, if I ever ran for public office, I would get rid of the legislation that hinders the working class, that makes it impossible for the working class to exist, that makes the working class like so difficult to have a living. Because the Democrats love to rob the working class. They love to rob the middle class. They love to rob people who make money, and they love to award lazy, freeloading welfare queens and illegals. That's why Connecticut has so many illegal immigrants. It's not even fucking funny. It isn't. Yeah, there's so many illegals that live here in Connecticut that are protected by the liberal progressive Democrats of Connecticut that ICE has a hard time trying to go after these people. And this is why I tell people, if you want more wages, if you want lower cost of living, and if you want a better life, get rid of the illegals and get rid of the welfare queens. It's pretty much that simple. You get rid of these two, the middle and working class can at least survive, at least thrive, and at least be able to ink a living in existence. Pretty much. But the reality here is Connecticut is going to continue to rob, beat, and strong arm the working class and the middle class so they can pay for their welfare queens and their illegal immigrants. And as a working class person, that's that's wrong. That's wrong. That's like robbing Peter to pay for Paul. And that is wrong. That is literally wrong here. That's why I try to tell people, and I try to tell people this, is that blue states destroy hope and dreams. Blue states destroy livelihoods. They make it impossible for you to ink a living. Even if you try to like ink a living or try to make $1 out of something, they will find a way to squash that or rob that from you or take it away from you. They will find it. Whereas red states, they'd be like, hey, you made $1? Good, good, good for you, good for you. Whereas blue states, hand it over, hand it over, hand it over. Yeah, they would. And they would hand that dollar over to an illegal and welfare queen that they're protecting. While you, the middle and working class stiff, get robbed and get shafted up the ass. Yeah. Many times, and I say this many times, as someone who works and who's scraping by with just a part time job, okay, and who has skills, which means I have skills like an EMT, and I can't find some hospital or fire department to hire me. It's tough. It really is tough. And the sad reality is, I'm stuck in this blue state, and I'm trying to fight like hell to change it, but there are no Marvel's Avengers coming to help us. Instead, we're fucking on our own because the national conservative and MAGA movement is more concerned about liberals in Texas, liberals in Colorado, Minnesota, or Florida, and all that. But they're not concerned in blue states because blue states there are Republicans who are hold out. They are, but they're just hiding in the mist. They really are. And I tell you, as someone who is a libertarian, yeah, there are libertarians in blue states who are trying to change the state, but we are fighting a losing battle. And this losing battle is only going to get worse. And I'm telling you right now, if a lot of these national MAGA movements don't help us, What you see happening in blue states being done to conservatives, Republicans, and libertarians is a warning that it'll happen to your state. And if you don't fight it in your state and help us fight it in our state, there's no way you're gonna win elections. There's no way. You're gonna get slapped upside the head, and then you're gonna get Democrats marching in, taking over, ruining your state, and then you're gonna sit there and cry and say, "How come the MAGA movement didn't help us? How come?" Because you didn't help us. You know what I mean? You didn't help us show us the way, and then test it on us to fight it over in your state. It's pretty much that simple. But this is why it grinds my gears. It really does. It really does, man. I mean, I work a part-time job at Amazon, okay? I work at an Amazon delivery station in Glastonbury, Connecticut. I work for a part-time job. I only work meager wage, meager shifts. I don't work overnights because I don't have the mentality to work overnights. So I try to get morning shifts. But even then, doesn't pay enough to give me the cost of living. Doesn't pay enough to ink me the cost of living. It doesn't. Because every time I look at my pay stub, I get robbed for taxes. I get robbed for like what? Family medical leave to pay some schmick who works at McDonald's because his company doesn't have paid medical leave. Yeah, that's what sucks. And then my tax dollars get robbed to pay for some welfare queen and some illegal immigrant. While people like me who work our ass off get nothing. We get zilch, nada. We get nothing. We get robbed blind. I'm surprised they didn't rob me of my diaper. But I tell people this is that as someone who lives in a blue states are where hopes and dreams die. Blue states are where the American dream is dead. And I hate to say this, and I hate to say this to everyone that's listening to my show. I live in a blue state, and the American dream does not exist. Okay? If I live in a red state, yes, the American dream exists. But I live in a blue state, and the American dream does not exist. Prove me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Prove me wrong that the American dream exists in a blue state. Prove me wrong. But reality wise, reality wise, the American dream is dead in blue states. And I tell people that you can't dream of owning your own business, being able to make it in America. Because if you live in the blue states of America, the American dream is like dead, squashed, done. It doesn't exist anymore. It's just a fantasy. It's just like it's just some like TV show or movie like out there. Doesn't exist. If the only way the American dream exists, if you live in a red state like say Texas and Florida. But since I live in a I'm sorry about that. If I live in a red state, yeah, the American dream is alive and well. But I live in a blue state, the American dream is fucking dead. It's dead and it has been dead for so long. It pretty much has, guys. Hmm. It pretty much has. But I will tell people this. I will tell you this. As someone who lives here in Connecticut, I try to keep the American dream alive. I try to fight for the American dream, but I'm fighting an uphill losing battle. And every day, and going to work, trying to find shifts, trying to find schedule, trying to find a job that makes enough for me to live either the lower middle class or the middle class is next to impossible. It is like a pipe dream, a fantasy here, okay? Whereas if I was living in a red state, oh yeah, it is possible. The American dream is possible. But here in Connecticut, there's no such thing as the American dream. The American dream is more like the fucking American nightmare. And it's a fucking huge nightmare here. It is. That's why I tell people no matter how much money I make in this state, I'll never live comfortably. I'll never live the middle class dream. The middle class dream here in Connecticut doesn't exist. It's a fantasy. It's a wish dream. It's a wish, a pipe dream. It does not exist in a blue state. In a red state, yes, it does. But in a blue state, fuck no. Hell no. That's why when I see politicians who are running for office here in Connecticut, they sell you pipe dreams that never materialize. And they sell you like hope that never happens. That's why I don't endorse politicians unless they're going to commit to change in this country, unless they're going to commit to make this country better, unless they're going to make this state more livable and more prosperous, like bringing jobs back, bringing companies back, offering companies to set up shop in our state. Yeah, unless they're going to offer that, I'm not endorsing a lot of politicians. I'm sorry to say this. I'm not endorsing a lot of politicians. A lot of politicians here in Connecticut and here in this country sell all this pipe dream shit, but then this pipe dream never materializes. That's why I don't have faith and trust in our politicians. I don't have faith and trust in the political system in this country because the political system just robs me behind, steals my wallet, and whatever's left is nothing. Yeah, I don't have faith and trust in our politicians anymore. I don't. I've lost that faith and trust because you know why? They all say they're going to lower property taxes, they're going to lower income taxes, or try to get rid of income taxes, but they never actually practice what they preach. They never actually do what they say. And that's why I come from a generation, and a lot of people don't fucking realize this. I'm a Gen Xer, which means I come from a generation that what you say you're going to do, you better do it. If you don't, you look like a jackass. But today's generation is, oh, I'm gonna do this and this and this, and then people don't do it, and then they think that, oh, that makes them look good. That makes you look like a jackass. That really does. That's why my generation growing up, what what you do matters more than what you say, and what you say means shit to me. What you say means shit and jack crap because you can say everything up my ass, but never do it. But then that makes you look like an idiot. But then today's generation thinks, oh, that's good. That's good. You said that. That's good. You said that. But my generation is, that makes you look like an asshole. That makes you look like an idiot because you can say all this shit all you want, but if you don't back it up with action, doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit to me. That's why I'm a generation growing up that says actions speak louder than words. And a lot of times today, words speak louder than action. And this is why Gen Xers just needs to wake up and go, yeah, we need to teach this generation how to do things, how to get things done. Instead of all talk, let's see a little more action. Yeah, let's have some more action out there. Let's have some more movement out there. But you know, This generation's all about words, or say use your words. No, use your action. Do what you're gonna say you're gonna do instead of saying it and then not doing it. Pretty much, guys. Pretty much. But I do want to say like this before we end the show today. I do want to say like this. Living in a blue state like Connecticut, there is no jobs out here. There's no economic growth. Even when COVID hit the blue state here, there was no economic recovery. There was no economic revival. There is no jobs coming back here. All the jobs and companies were ran out by progressive left leaning Democrats, and they ran them out to like red states. Yeah, the only jobs that are left are what? Healthcare, the service sector industry. That's it. And those healthcare jobs are far and few between because what AI is going to probably in the next what 2025. I say in the next 5, 10 years by 2035, they're gonna run them out. Yeah. AI is probably gonna take over half the workforce. Yeah. And then on top of all that, guys, on top of all that, service sector jobs don't even pay enough just to buy a shopping cart full of groceries. It doesn't. All it pays is just what? Just to get gas to go to work. But then there you got leftist blue states who are trying to push for what? Electric vehicles. But then they push for no electric vehicles except for Tesla. You see? That's why I go like this. The American dream is dead. The American dream does not exist anymore. The American dream is just a pipe dream, especially here in the blue state. But if you live in a red state, you're lucky. You're experiencing the American dream. You're experiencing the golden age. Whereas here in the blue state, the golden age doesn't exist. The golden age is just what? A pipe dream, a fantasy, a wish list of sort. Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is, folks. But I will tell you this. It doesn't exist here in Connecticut or any blue state that I know of. And if the left thinks that the American dream exists or there's prosperity here, I would like to know what you're snorting and smoking, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to know what are you snorting and smoking because to me, it doesn't exist here. It's a pipe dream. It's a fantasy. It's an illusion. Okay? It is pure shit. And this is why, guys, I tell people that the American dream is dead in blue states. And there's no way for people like me to live the golden age here. The golden age only exists in what? Red states? But blue states? No, there's no golden age here. There's only dark ages here. There's only dark ages. And that's why I say like this, okay? That the American dream does not exist. It is just a pipe dream, an illusion. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If anyone in the blues that's a Democrat, leftist, liberal, and progressive who thinks that they're living in a prosperous economy in this state, whatever you're smoking, snorting, or drinking, I want you to get the fuck away from that. Really do. I want you to get the fuck away from it. Because it doesn't exist. It doesn't. It doesn't. If it exists, how come people like me are not working full time? How come people like me are not getting jobs? If the left and the liberals and progressives think that we live in a prosperous economy, that's that's what I want to challenge them on. But they'll probably never take it up on it because then they'll have to admit that, yeah, we squandered the state, we destroyed the state, we gerrymandered it so badly that, oh, holy fuck that. There's no way of recovering. There is none whatsoever. Well, anyway, I thank you guys for listening to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. I will see y'all soon. Bye for now. You just listened to an episode of Nikki's World. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.